Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about a CCNP level lab. Actually, it's between CCNP and CCIE. This is the discussion of private VLANs, kind of a layer 2 concept, advanced layer 2 concept, uh, which is in both blueprints, CCNP route switch and CCIE route switch blueprint. And I have seen some people have difficulties for configuring private VLANs and understanding how it would work in reality and in the exam, how they should confront that. So this is the diagram that I have put together very quickly in the last 10 minutes to show you and to demonstrate you how you can configure private VLAN very easily in GNS3. So I have, as always, my switches here, switch 1, switch 2, and they are running on VMware Workstation as viral images. So for those who didn't follow my other videos, my previous videos, I'm using viral images in GNS3. It's iOS V layer 2, 15.2. This is specifically designed for lab purposes by Cisco, and it contains almost all necessary layer 2 features that you need for taking the exam and learning even on, I believe personally, to up to CCIE level. So what we have here, switch 1, switch 2, I have two interfaces between the two, and I will have one primary VLAN, which is, as you know, in a private VLAN concept, it's called as parent VLAN 34. Before I go to other aspects of my secondary VLANs, which also come in community and isolated VLANs, uh, I just would like to make a highlight of what exactly we mean by primary VLAN. So basically what I mean is that all these workstations from pure VLAN layer 2 perspective will be in one broadcast domain by default, right? Right now, all of them are in one broadcast domain, which is VLAN 1. What we are going to do, we are going to allocate them to primary VLAN, which is VLAN 7, sorry, 34, and then we will have sub VLAN within the VLANs, which is the essence and the core of private VLAN concept. So we will have a community VLAN, VLAN 7, and we will have isolated VLANs, VLAN 6 here and here, and we will have another community VLAN 7 on another switch, switch 2, which this trunk will carry the .1q tagging of VLAN 7 across this link, port channel link. So basically what happens is that I will switch to blue, is that from PC4 and 3, I will be able to ping PC5, but from PC1 and 2, I will not be able to ping anyone. Basically, it's a kind of a zero-touch security approach on isolated VLANs. These are just like islands, and they cannot reach anyone, but just their default gateway, which in this case will be this IP, uh, this IP on this router. Now, what else we have to do is that we have to configure this particular port on switch 2 as promiscuous port, and we have to do the mapping in order to allow all these workstations to reach their outside of primary VLAN, which is VLAN 7, and outside world. But inside VLAN 7, we will have, sorry, 34. I'm sorry, 34, which is a primary VLAN. And inside this primary VLAN 34, we will have our uh, private VLAN security policies. Now, so let's jump into the configuration. For your information, I just set up this lab right now. I didn't do any pre-configuration, no IP address allocation, and no Etherchannel or anything configuration here. So we will do it very quickly together. What I just did before starting the recording was assigning IP addresses to these PCs. Now, just to verify that if I go to PC2, as you can see, I have assigned this IP address, which is a subnet for VLAN 34 primary VLAN, and I should be able to ping other workstations across this broadcast domain. So 10.10.34. Let's say I'm going to ping 1, and you see ping goes through and it works because all of them by default are connected to VLAN 1 on switch 1. Now let's jump into switch 1. So here, as you can see, I didn't configure even the host name on switch 1. So let's do it together. So enable conft host name switch 1. Just very quickly, line console 0 logging synchronous in order to be able to work on the console without getting annoyed. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to first configure this trunk between these two switches, which is a port channel. So let me just figure out what interfaces are. That's 0, 0, 0 and 0, 1. Okay. So very quickly, interface range gigabyte 0, 1 and 2. Oh no, that's a mistake. 0, 0 and 1. Switch port trunk encapsulation .1q. Switch port mode trunk. Switch port no negotiate. So let's just shut them down for now. Channel group 1 mode. We will put it like 1 2. Means channel group from 1 to switch 1 to switch 2. Mode I want to have it as LACP. Passive, or I will put it active, and channel protocol LACP. Okay, now we're good in this sense. Oops. So I will bring them up from this side. Again, interface range gigabit 001, no shot. Switch 1 is ready. Let's jump to switch 2. Here I will just make it a little bit smaller in order to see. Okay, so let's see. Show first of all conft hostname switch 2 line console logging synchronous. Okay. Let me check if I can see anything on CDP. Show CDP neighbor. Okay, I see switch 1 on 01. Okay, no problem. So const interface range gig 01, sorry 00 until 1 switch port trunk encapsulation switch port mode trunk. Let's shut it down first. Switch port no negotiate. Switch port no negotiate. What else? What else? What else? Channel group 2 to 1 mode. That one was active, so we will put this one as passive. Channel protocol LACP. No shot. Now we should have our Etherchannel quickly comes up along with the trunk. Let's check. Show interface trunk. Nothing. Show interface trunk because they are still suspended. Okay, they came up. Now my channel group came up, so no, not yet. came up now. As you can see, it changed to port channel 21. That's good. So, and all the VLANs are allowed. Okay. So we quickly set up this trunk now. Let's jump into the router quickly and do some pre-configuration there as well. We'll call it what's the name, router, or we call it edge router. Yeah, edge router, why not? So interface giga 00, IP address 172. Yeah, 100. No, sorry. Ooh, 10:10:35. It's a little bit like midnight here, and I just felt like recording this video, so maybe I'm a bit slow and a little bit like inefficient. Just accept my apologies on that. Okay, so 200 and 254, 200, no shot. We will create another loopback IP address that we will be testing from this loopback and to this loopback, or IP connectivity within the primary VLAN and from the community and isolated VLAN. This is going to somehow simulate our outside world out of the primary VLAN. So interface loopback is 0, IP address 192.168.1.1, 800.500.0. So show IP interface brief. Okay, the router also looks good. Now we will go on switch 1 and we will start our configuring our our private VLAN. So before that, I just want to have a double confirmation on my trunk and Etherchannel. Show Etherchannel summary. Okay, this looks good. Show interface trunk. Perfect. Okay, so first we will start by creating our secondary VLANs. Let's start with community VLAN. So, actually, I'm going to show you something. So I will start by VLAN. Isolated is 6. So I will call here private VLAN isolated, and bang, I get an error message because VTP version 1 or version 2, which is the default version 1, which version 1 is the default on Cisco switches, they don't understand private VLANs. Either we have to go to version 3, VTP version 3, or transparent mode. So what we will do, I will go to VTP mode transparent. Okay. Now show VLAN brief. I should have my VLAN 6 created. Yes. So VLAN 6 private VLAN isolated. Okay. VLAN 7 private VLAN community. Now we will create a parent VLAN, VLAN 34 private VLAN primary, and here we will also add another command, private VLAN associations. Here we are adding, it's kind of tying the primary VLAN and the secondary VLANs, which are community and isolated, together with this command. So I'm going to add VLAN 7 and VLAN 6. Actually, let's put it this way, 6 and 7. Okay. Now, we can verify that by show VLAN private VLAN type. As you can see, it's created. My primary is 34, community is 7, and isolated is 6. So if I do show VLAN private VLAN, and I can see they are tied together, the secondaries to the primary one. So from VLAN perspective, we are good to go. Let's start assigning our ports. So just very quickly on my community, I have here gig 1 1, and here gig 1 0. Okay, so conf interface range gig. I forgot. 1 1 and 1 0. Okay, 1 slash 0 and 1 1. Okay, so we just add one description. We've got it VLAN, private VLAN community. Now here I will do switchboard mode host. Sorry, private VLAN host. Private VLAN host. It's a kind of an equivalent command to switchboard mode access or trunk. It's just a different mode for switchboard. It tells the switch that okay, you don't have to put it in an access mode or trunk mode. It's a different type of mode for this layer 2 port, layer 2 interface, and it's just a private VLAN. Now we will do switch port, private VLAN, host association. So right now I am going to educate my switch that which primary and secondary VLAN this interface is allocated to. Okay, so host association, I would say 34 is my private and 7 is my community and secondary, and we should be good to go. So let's just verify that show run interface gig 1 1. Okay, if I do show VLAN private VLAN, I can see that 1 1 and 1 0, yes, 1 0 are added to community. Okay, then let's jump into these two as well. So isolated one is 0 2 and 0 3. Okay, switch one conf interface range gig 0 2 and 3. Again, description pvlan isolated. Now switchboard mode private VLAN host, switchboard private VLAN host association 34 6. Okay, and now if I do show VLAN private VLAN, show VLAN private VLAN, I can see that my ports are assigned. So we can start gradually by verifying our scenario on switch 1 by pinging from the PCs. Let's do that. So PC. So basically, I should be able to ping PC from PC3 to PC4 and vice versa, but I shouldn't be able to ping any other client outside of this community VLAN, and also from isolated to any other. So let's do that. I'm gonna go to PC4 here. So I'm gonna ping PC3, and my ping works, of course, because I am on the same community VLAN, and I'm going to ping this time my PC2, and let's see if it works. No, it doesn't, because it's in isolated private VLAN. So as you can see, it says that host not reachable. Now, if I go to PC2 now, you see that I was, before configuring my private VLANs, I was able to ping from PC to my PC1, which was the same VLAN, and now it's in the different private VLAN, which is isolated. Now I shouldn't be able to ping it, and no, I'm not able to ping it. Okay, so we are good on switch 1. Here's the point, that when we are trunking the private VLANs to another switch, there are two important points. First of all, the secondary VLANs are responsible for getting tagged along the way on the trunk. And second point is that you should have the exact consistent configuration across the both or all switches that you are doing trunking. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So in other words, I have to go to switch 2 and put all the configuration I performed on my switch 1 here as well. So I will do it. I will do VTP mode, transparent, VLAN, what was that? VLAN 6, private VLAN isolated, exit, VLAN 7, private VLAN community, exit, VLAN 34, private VLAN primary, private VLAN association, add 6 and 7. Let's check that. Show VLAN private VLAN type. Perfect. Show VLAN private VLAN. Show VLAN private VLAN. Okay, I have them. And they are tied together, my secondary and primary VLANs, but there are no port assigned yet. So I'm going to go to interface giga02 switch port mode, private VLAN host, switch port private VLAN host association. This is 34 as primary, as secondary, and community is 7. So show VLAN private VLAN and gigabit 02, which my PC5 is connected to, is associated to that. So here, if I go to my PC4, which is connected to switch 1, this guy, I was able to ping another community member, which was PC3. Now I should be able to ping 5 as well. And it doesn't work. Let's do some troubleshooting. Let's check first the IP address on PC5. Show IP. That's correct. Okay. Let me try to ping from here. So, oh, this way it works. Okay, now when I'm pinging my other member of the community, so basically I'm pinging from here, this client to 4, and it works. It goes through the trunk, and from community to community, let's ping 3. It also works. Now if I ping 2, it shouldn't. Okay. And 1 also shouldn't. That's correct. And if I shouldn't be able to ping my default gateway as well. So it means that I'm completely isolated now inside my primary VLAN, and I cannot get out of the room. Now let's jump back to PC4 and see what was the problem there. Maybe we are hitting a bug. Oh, okay, yeah, it was something like a bug or something, because I can ping it now. Now I will be able to ping 3 as well. Right, that's right. Okay. So let's configure our default gateway as well. So we configured 10.10.34.200 on gigabit 00 on router 1, which is going to act as our default gateway. Now I have to go to switch 2, and I have to go to interface just make sure show CDP neighbor. I have my edge router on gig3/3, so conf interface gig3/3 switch port mode private VLAN host switch port private VLAN host association, no, private VLAN, oh no, sorry, no, I made a mistake. Switch port mode private VLAN private VLAN promiscuous. Okay. And then we will do the mapping. Switch port, private VLAN, mapping. Now mapping the private VLANs here. I have to add my 34 and 6 and 7. Okay, let's do that. Let's check that. Show VLAN, private VLAN. Okay, as you can see here, this interface, which is my promiscuous interface, has been added to both secondary VLANs, which makes sense. Now, if I do show run interface gig 3/3, it's in promiscuous mode. So now I should be able to, from my PC4, to ping my default gateway. Let's do that. 200. Yes, it works. And I should be able to even ping the loopback behind the router, which will verify that I'm able to get out of my broadcast domain. So I'm going to ping 192 168.1.1, and that works perfectly. Okay, so our promiscuous port also works, and I think we have met all the objectives. And thank you for watching, and I hope it was informative.